Hello, Tristan C here, alongside the legend that is Dave Pearce. Dave's playing for Trance Sanctuary on New Year's Day, and we're here in Dave's studio. We're going to go through some of his vinyl and have a chat about some of his favourites and get a bit of a preview of what's in store for New Year's Day. Dave, thanks very much for having us come along to your studio.
You're very welcome.
And, well, have you got any vinyl that you've got picked out that you'd like to have a chat about?
Yeah, I have. I mean, it's weird. I used to have like a whole garage full of records when I lived in London. I've now moved to the South Coast, so I just kind of kept records that are dear to my heart across the spectrum of music that I like. So a few of the trance ones, everything's digitised now, but I think we've got some down here we can have a look at.
Awesome. Wow, so what have we got?
Well, actually, Plastic Boy Silver Bath, the original test pressing, I hope you appreciate. I love that kind of sound, that really kind of what I used to call floaty trance on my show.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a record you can really lose yourself in. It's got spirituality in it, which is what I love about, you know, elements of trance music. And I used to love playing this one, particularly in Ibiza, you know, like midway through a set, about 4 or 5 in the morning, when everyone's just in that kind of moment, in a groove with the sets. I mean, in those days, obviously, I used to love the fact that you could play, you know, 12-minute records and stuff, and a lot of DJing has changed since then. So, that was a key record. Next we've got Armin van Buuren Shivers, which is around about the same time. I just love the vocal on that. It's my favourite of Armin's tracks that he did, and I still play that. I mean, that might end up getting played, you never know.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's
Trance
one.
Sanctuary.
Yeah, you never want to part with that.
Yeah.
That's gold.
So I don't know. I mean, you know, Push Universal Nation.
That's a classic.
Yeah, I mean, I love Mike Push's stuff. This is the record that kind of kicks it off my kind of appreciation of his music, and then obviously, you know, I loved Strange World after that, and Legacy. He actually filmed the video at our night in Ibiza, which was amazing. So if you look closely on YouTube in the video, you'll see me DJing his record. I think I had to play his record about 10 times in the set, you know, because they were trying to get the video to work with. It must have been, but I think the club has still loved it anyway.
Wow,
and,
that's one to look up on YouTube.
Yeah, it is. So it's a Legacy shot at Eden in Ibiza.
Wow. How do you organise all of these records? Are they in any kind of, are they just sort of all organised chaos, or is it in alphabetical order or anything like that?
It's organised chaos, really. In the vinyl days, good old vinyl, when we were playing, which is obviously when the main part of my trance career was playing on vinyl, I wouldn't know where things were in the box. I'd recognise things by the labels or what have you. So I kind of knew where everything was, and I like that, that I could easily find what I wanted in the boxes, and then I'd have maybe 2 boxes of, you know, different progressive styles or whatever. But now, obviously, I use Rekordbox on the computer.
So what else have we got
Paul
here?
Van Dyke for an Angel.
Wow, is that the original?
That was the original one that they sent over.
That's a real piece of history right there.
Yeah, I was very lucky actually, because when I was on Radio 1, when trance first started taking off, in the good old days of people having records and sending them, just all these guys in Holland started sending me records. So I remember, like, out of the blue, you know, just arriving in the post one day, and you know, all these DJs that were just sending you their tracks, which was absolutely amazing. I mean, my sort of personal big records, I guess the biggest one ever in my life was Delirium Silence to play out.
Weren't you the first DJ to play them on radio?
I was probably one of the early ones. I don't know who the first person to play it was, but I actually hammered it. I was kind of quite responsible for getting it played on Radio 1, because when it first came out, the radio edits that they provided to Radio 1 didn't like the record. And I was like, such the head of music, you cannot not play this record, it's so good. So
it sounds insane.
It does. So we ended up doing our own, we actually made our own versions, nothing to do with the record company, and kept giving them to the head of music, just as fans of the track. And eventually, as you know, it got playlisted. Another one that's dear to my heart is obviously Ocean Lab Satellite, which I put out on my New Life label, and you know, that's the Above and Beyond guys. And I'd done the Dirt Devils, the drill with them prior to that. And Music is Life, and they came in one day with this demo. And I remember them playing it to me, and I just went, oh God, this is amazing, we've got to do this. And you know, it was in a very raw form. And we went back and back and back, and I used to play it at the Escape in Swansea in its different mixes until we got it how we wanted it. and they're such perfectionists, great guys to work with. So Ocean Lab Satellite, you know, that's another one that's dear to my heart.
Yeah.
Polaroid So Damn Beautiful, the original mix, obviously. This is one that I nearly signed actually to my New Life label when I was running that, and the reason I didn't sign it was because they wanted to do the album. The album was like a folk album. I don't know if you ever heard it, but it was a nice album, but it wasn't a trance thing. So we never did it anyway, and it was a regret of mine. I always loved the record, and so obviously just recently I've reworked the record, and we got in touch with Polaroid. We got the original vocal. I wanted to keep her vocal in there, and we put that on my new label, Delirium. But that's what started the love affair with that record. So,
that's where it all started. Wow.
Yeah, so
wow.
That's the original version.
I feel like this is true history here. This is amazing.
What else have we got? Well, I suppose more on the banging tip. Marcel Woods, Advanced. You know, I do like those banging moments. I tried to kind of always have journey sets when I was doing the big trance night. So you know, I'd have different sections of the set where it would go in different directions, and this is obviously for the banging bit. And I also had Marcel Woods join me when I was doing the Ministry of Sound night. You know, I put him on at one of our Delirium parties.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And so yeah, those are some of the. We could spend hours.
We could.
But those are some of the great vinyl tracks.
Wow. Well, thanks, Dave. Look forward to hearing some of those and some others at Trance Sanctuary on New Year's Day.